Howdy folks, and welcome back to Ghost Recon Wildlands with the mighty Jingles. Right now we're working hard at destabilising the Santa Blanca drug cartel's smuggling organisation. The smuggling boss is nVidia Flores, who goes by the nickname of the Beauty Queen. Now, while nVidia may be great at smuggling drugs, she's absolutely terrible at keeping track of where all the money went. And so El Sueño has called in his favourite money launderer, El Pulpo, to audit her books. However, there's a bit of bad blood between nVidia and El Pulpo, and she strongly suspects, probably correctly, that El Pulpo is going to attempt to plant some evidence that she's been skimming money off the top in order to get El Sueño to replace her. Now, even if El Pulpo is not planning to set nVidia up, we're going to do our level best to make sure that it looks like he is. So one of two things is going to happen. Either it'll work, and nVidia will get bumped off by El Sueño for stealing from him, or nVidia will kill El Pulpo before he can complete his audit. Either way, we win.
Check this out. nVidia buys her makeup online.
Does that receipt have a delivery address on it?
Why, yes it does.
Bet she ordered from a computer at that location. We hack that machine, we can make it look like she's skimming cash.
Good idea. Let's hit it.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Like I said, nVidia may be an expert at smuggling drugs, but she knows absolutely nothing about computer security. We have actually found her location by tracing the address on an online makeup order that she made. Oh well. This is actually going to be quite an amusing episode of Ghost Recon Wildlands, and though possibly not for the reasons that you may be expecting. Thanks to nVidia's little online indiscretion, we now have the address of her hacienda, so the next part of the plan is to break in quietly, if possible, locate her personal computer, and plant some evidence that makes it look like somebody's been up to no good with El Sueño's money. Of course, as is usually the case whenever I get involved, things don't stay quiet for very long. What's bizarre, though, is this is not nVidia's hacienda.
Frag out.
This is where the personal computer is. I don't know, I just work here. nVidia's hacienda is actually about 300 metres away on the hill underneath this helipad. Prior to all the shooting and explosions that you're watching now, I spent a good 20 minutes doing reconnaissance of the hacienda until I realised that the mission objective was actually pointing me 200 to 300 metres further away up the hill. There it is.
Transferred about $50 million from nVidia's accounts to accounts that look like Pulpo's. It's artless, but it'll get the job done.
Wait, what? We just transferred $50 million from nVidia's accounts into El Pulpo's accounts. How is that going to make it look like nVidia is stealing money from El Sueño? That's going to make it look like El Pulpo is stealing money from nVidia. Did I miss a meeting here? I thought we were going to nVidia's hacienda to plant evidence on her personal computer that she was stealing money from El Sueño. Not that we were heading to some remote mountainside hilltop helicopter drug smuggling landing pad and making it look like El Pulpo was stealing from her. Or possibly that she was giving money to El... I'm confused. Maybe it'll all make sense when we get on to the next mission.
I've had it, Boquita. I tell you, no más. No más. No más.
Tranquila, Reina.
Did you just tell me tranquila? You did not just tell me tranquila.
El Pulpo is a fucking bookkeeper. What harm can he do?
Pinche idiota. El Pulpo is a goddamn efficiency expert. Everyone knows he wants us to move the money laundering to Montevideo. He will fucking make sure it looks like I'm costing the cartel money and that I'm not useful to El Sueño anymore.
He does it like Montevideo, doesn't he?
Boquita, you know we don't fire people in our line of work. We bury them.
nVidia does make a very good point. But I'm still not completely clear on how making it look like El Pulpo acquired $50 million from her accounts is going to help us. Maybe it'll all become clear in a minute. Our next mission objective is just up ahead. And there it is. What's all this then?
Got a shipping schedule for those convoys of cash coming from Banco de Barbechos.
Should make it easy to cull one from the herd, then drop the loot off at Pulpo's garage.
If Bowman leaks that truck's location to nVidia, we can sit back and watch things fall apart.
Wait, what? We're going to hijack a truck full of drug money and stick it in one of El Pulpo's garages. And then the CIA are going to link that truck to nVidia. How does that help us take down nVidia? Surely that's going to make nVidia look like the victim here. We've already arranged to have $50 million taken from nVidia's accounts and put into El Pulpo's accounts. And now we're making it look like El Pulpo is stealing one of nVidia's money trucks. If the objective is to take down El Pulpo, that all makes perfect sense. Well, the money truck's up ahead, so we'll worry about it later.
Opening fire.
Gentlemen, weapons free. Now, I have invested quite heavily in skills that increase the damage that we do to vehicles. Luckily, I've also invested quite heavily in the amount of damage that any vehicle I drive can take, because this thing is far from armoured. Right, let's get this guy run off the road. Gotcha. And looks like the driver of the money truck has bailed.
Their LT's trying to run.
One of them's trying to... he's hijacked the car. You can't hijack cars. This is Bolivia. If there's any car hijacking going to happen, I'm going to be the one doing it.
Watch it, it's gonna blow.
Yeah, car's going to blow. Get in the truck, get it out of here, and take it to one of El Pulpo's garages.
Pulpo has a garage near it. Drop the truck off there.
What the hell kind of accountant has a garage?
The kind who invests in all sorts of businesses to help launder his boss's money.
Do you guys remember the last Ghost Recon video I did, where I'm creeping around the silver mine looking for the mine owner to get the location of El Pulpo's accountant? And I'm covered in weapons from head to foot, crouched down with a suppressed pistol in my hand, and all the various different admin staff in the mine administration building headquarters just couldn't give a shit. I'm just wandering past them going, pardon me, excuse me, and not one of them so much as batted an eyelid. Well, if you thought that was amusing, and it was pretty amusing, you ain't seen nothing yet. The story here is that we've successfully deposited nVidia's money truck in a garage that's owned by El Pulpo. The trick is getting out without anybody seeing us.
I asked the rebels to recon the area for us.
Here's our intel on enemy locations.
So, any of those bad guys sets eyes on me, they're going to go, oh, that's not one of nVidia's trucks, that's a CIA truck. Oh, we must inform our boss that he's being set up, and that would scupper our plans completely. I'm not entirely clear on why they wouldn't be suspicious if one of nVidia's trucks is being deposited in one of El Pulpo's garages, but, you know, I just work here. I don't ask questions. But anyway, if I get spotted, they all suddenly realise it's a CIA truck and not a nVidia truck. You with me so far? Okay. So, I have to exfiltrate from this area without being spotted. I can kill... I can kill as many of them as I want, as long as I don't get spotted while I'm doing it. Apparently a whole bunch of bodies lying around the place isn't suspicious. But if anybody actually sets eyes on me, it's game over. So, note that it's only if they set eyes on me.
All disabled. Reinforcements won't be flying in.
Any other heavily armed gringos seen wandering around the area are no cause for concern. This particular heavily armed gringo seen wandering around the area, the alarm goes off and its mission failed.
Alright, breathe easy.
Because reasons. Watch this. Hang on a second, let me just make sure I've got them all tagged. See, I've done this kind of mission before and it is actually quite tricky. There's no real way of getting out. Well, there are ways that you can do it without being spotted, without killing anybody, but they involve lots and lots of decoys and some very, very good timing. It's far easier to just kill everybody, because dead men tell no tales. And apparently lots of dead bodies lying around aren't suspicious at all. The trick, of course, is that if they see any bodies, the alarm's going to go off. So you have to kill them either all at the same time, or ensure that you drop them in places where they're not going to be spotted. So you could create a decoy, pull a couple of them away. Oh, hold on, we've got something.
Football, I need you to be very tactful with Nvidia.
Jefe, Señorita Flores is either intentionally hiding something, or she is completely incompetent at bookkeeping. From what I can tell, she is using a single entry system while she practices cash basis accounting. With numbers this high, with product at this volume, she should at least know how to use accrual accounting.
She is a beauty queen who started in this business as arm candy.
There are huge gaps in her books. If she were stealing from you, she could scheme the cash deposits as they come in from Brazil. She could scheme the cash as it's laundered at the bank.
I do not doubt Nidia's loyalty. You will come to Bolivia. You will audit her operation, and you will teach her how to keep better records.
In all honesty, Jefe, we should be doing all of our laundering in Uruguay digitally. Pero I will be on a plane for Bolivia in the morning.
Okay, well, that was El Pulpo. Apparently he's voiced by the same guy who did Speedy Gonzales. He's, seriously? Well, anyway, back to the plot. I'm pretty sure I've tagged the location of all of the gods, and of course they're all standing between me and the only way out of here. So, there's two ways of doing this. Well, there's three ways of doing it. One of them involves trying to sneak past them all. And that's just too complicated and far too likely to fail. So, we're going to have to drop them all at the same time. And for that, I'm going to need myself a nice, reliable, quiet submachine gun, like the MP7. The Ministry of Defence Police are actually equipped with these here in the UK. It's the branch of the police service that are tasked with guarding all Ministry of Defence establishments. It fires a specialised 5.7mm bullet. The armour-piercing capabilities of this thing are very, very good. Fires on full auto, but the mod plod, as we call the Ministry of Defence Police, have versions of this weapon that is single shot only. Which kind of begs the question, if you're only going to fire single-aimed shots, why would you buy something that's fully automatic? But then again, all of the British police forces, when they arm their policemen, they're armed with single-shot weapons, regardless of whether or not it would be a fully automatic or burst-fire weapon if you bought it anywhere else. I bumped into a couple of armed policemen, stopped and had a little chat with them, actually, when I was heading down to Tiger Day a couple of weeks back, outside Southampton Central train station, and they were on with M4s, which were mechanically locked to single shot only, which I suppose makes sense. I mean, if the police have to shoot people, you'd like to think that they were firing aimed shots. Another strange thing about the armed police in this country, because we do have armed police in Britain, is that there's no standard weapons issued to any of them. Every police force in the country is authorised to source its own equipment.
I'm getting a position.
And so, in one county,
Get to a
you'll
better
see
position.
police armed with MP5s. In another county, you'll see police armed with
Target
M4s. In another county, you'll see police armed with Steyr AUGs. The Ministry of Defence Police armed with MP7s, although sometimes you see them with
I gotta find a
SA-80s.
position.
It's just a weird situation. Anyway,
Say the word.
what I'm doing right now is I'm going to make use of sync shot to take these guys down and hopefully drop them all at the same time. So I have 3 targets set up, but watch. Do you see this? Look at this. Let me zoom in. What the actual... Is that somebody's idea of stealth, is it? I mean... Heavily armed Special Forces operative just crouching in the middle of the yard. Bad guys all around him, and they're all just, seems legit. He's not bothering me. Yes, that really just happened. I told my squad to sync shots on the various different targets, and they all walked right up to them.
Weapons free, weapons free.
Got it. It's down.
That guy just casually wandered up behind the bad guy, crouched down behind him, was like, no, don't mind me. And that's how I completed that mission. Oh, Ghost Recon, you so silly. Yep, that's the point where Ghost Recon jumped the shark. From this point on, it's about as realistic as a Tom and Jerry cartoon.
Well, that's it. Now Bowman can leak the location to Nvidia's people.
And Nydia will start gunning for Pulpo.
Join us in the next episode of Ghost Recon, where our plan to capture El Pulpo is to place a large block of cheese in the middle of the street and then dangle a cage from a crane above it. Seriously, at this point, anything's possible. In the meantime, folks, enjoy the rest of your day. Take care, and I'll catch you next time.